Hey, Zach, good to see you.
Hi,
How you doing?
doing good.
Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, the man, the myth, the legend, Zach Zwerdling, local attorney and singer in a rock and roll band, at least a player.
Player, not singing,
Yeah.
which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's okay.
Mhm.
No, I'm a big fan of Ghost Train and just always love to see you guys. And you're playing, I guess you're going to play in McKinleyville at the park again.
That's right. Both bands, actually, Amber Soul and Ghost Train, have been two
Great.
bands, both unique,
Great.
very good bands.
So I want to hear, how did you get to, tell me about your journey. How did you get, where were you raised? How did you get to Humboldt?
Well, my family moved here in 1959, and so I started school in McKinleyville, went to
Oh.
Arcata High School, then on to Stanford University, University of Santa Clara Law
Mhm.
School. Started practicing here in Humboldt County in 1976 as a
Wow.
young public defender for a couple of years, and then I went into private practice, and I've been doing that ever since. And in 2026, I'll have my 50th year of practice.
That's wild because you only look like you're like holding 50 pretty well.
I've got a good makeup person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. So what inspired you to get into law?
Well, I when I was in high school and in college, the Vietnam War was a big thing, and I was pretty much against it. In fact, 100% against it. And I just thought the best way that I could contribute to the effort to stop the war was to get involved in the law
Wow.
and politics, and that was the primary goal. But I was interested in debate. I was on debate teams at Arcata High and various other schools. I like the verbal discourse thing
Sure.
with people and trying to resolve differences in an amicable way.
Mhm.
And the law is good for that, at least for some lawyers. Some lawyers aren't so amicable, but
Right,
I
right.
tried to be.
I have an 18-year-old that's I'm working. He's a good debater, but he's not amicable yet.
He may make a great lawyer then.
Yeah, I think he'd be a
Yeah.
fabulous lawyer. So what did you study at Stanford?
I was a history major.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And, it was really interesting stuff and good liberal arts education.
Sure.
Then, like I said, I went to law school and came right back to Humboldt County. It's where I wanted to be. This is my home.
Mhm.
This area means a lot to me.
hmm
I've raised my family here, 2 kids, and it's been a great place to as you know,
It
to
is
live and
amazing.
to raise children. There's very few places in the world like it.
Yeah, I think a hard stop on that. I think since COVID, especially, Joni and I have gone on dates up at Camel Rock and Scenic Drive, and yeah, folks, cheap date and Dick Taylor chocolate and a bottle of wine, and we're on our way. And here I am sitting over the sunset of the Pacific, and it's 60 degrees and beautiful, and I'm looking at my phone, and it's 20 degrees in Des Moines and Sioux City, where I'm from in Iowa. I go, wonder what they're thinking. And we live in such an amazing, magnificent, use another word, descriptor area. You're right. It's really beautiful. So were you raised in McKinleyville then? Was that
Pretty much, yeah. We moved to Arcata, somewhere along the line there. But
Yeah.
so McKinleyville and Arcata primarily.
So you were there for the open ditch sewers on both sides of Central and the back in the.
I was in one of the early Pearson developments out there.
Oh.
Can't remember the name of the street, but near Morris School, which
Yeah.
is where I went as a kid.
Okay.
So
So that's going way back. Yeah.
I was there
That's-
when they put the totem pole up.
Oh, wow. Okay. Greg
I
Pearson.
remember it.
Yeah, I was at a chamber mixer. Greg Pearson just took the top of it
I
down
heard.
a couple weeks ago. Well,
Mhm.
anyway, so great. So you went to Santa Clara to get a law degree.
Right.
All right. So you came back at the public defender's office?
Right.
How long were you there?
A couple of years, which was typical. And then I got invited into a couple of different firms. I went from one firm to another and eventually started my own practice. What was it? Maybe 3-4 years after I got out of the public defender's office.
Wow. How many
Yeah.
years is that now?
Well, like I said, I started practicing in 1976. So
Wow.
we're going on 47, I think, something
Wow.
like that.
That's
it's
amazing.
been a long, but I love it. And, my son is a lawyer in my office currently.
Sure.
It's really, in fact, he went to Stanford and Santa Clara too. He's kind of been following in the footsteps a little bit.
That's great.
But I'm helping guide him and guide the rest of the office. We have 2 other lawyers, and it's cool. I'm kind of mentoring
I like
now, and I do have some experience. So
Yeah.
it helps.
It turns out I'm writing about that a lot, thinking about that of late, mentoring, succession planning, discipling others, and because you got all this experience. In fact, I just wrote 2 blogs in my last 2 days because I was talking and thinking about this. My top 10 pitfalls that I would write to younger me or younger me's to look for, and they were interesting pitfalls. I won't talk about them much more other than to say that they were mine, and I learned from them. And I really envy you because you're kind of, I think you're where I want to be in terms of succession planning, and I don't know about exit strategy, but something like that.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So
I'm very lucky.
Biggest challenges in legal profession?
Oh, it's a tough way to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to find your place, and it's not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I've been really fortunate. I've got, because went to local schools, I had a pretty good client base here, and I've been involved in a lot of community activity, a lot of nonprofits. Music is kind of my passion, as you know. And so through all of that, I've been able to have a fairly successful practice, and I've been really happy with it. I've had some good results in court, some not so good results.
Yeah.
But there's something very satisfying about representing a person in need, who is in my situation. We do personal injury cases, and all of my clients have very serious medical problems that it's nice to be able to do something for them and help them out. Is a satisfaction thing. So
yeah, and you guys are award winning. It just, you wouldn't come on and say that, but I could say it, and you could talk about it. You've won a couple of awards as the office, and do you want to? Well, please tell me more. I'd like to.
Okay, well, I've Best of Humboldt a couple times, but the really significant awards are some national trial lawyer organizations that I've been inducted into. You don't apply; you get invited to join based on your track record. And these are both national organizations. One's called ABOTA, and the other is called the American College of Trial Lawyers. And those are my biggest honors, and I was very proud to get them. I'm the only attorney in Humboldt County that's in those organizations, and that's just based on years and years of trial practice and getting some good verdicts. And so a little bit of a national recognition there. I've had a couple of national cases, actually.
Wow.
So anyway,
that were tried here in Humboldt.
They were not. Well, they actually were settled. One of the most tragic case. I was involved in this case against Carrie Stainer in the Yosemite murders back. I think that was in the 2000s. I represented the family of the victims and against a motel where they were murdered.
It's the Carrington family.
Carrington family, correct. And that was a very, very difficult emotionally case. And we got a good result for everybody. And I got interviewed on a lot of national TV. It was quite an experience. Yeah.
Boy, that's a heavy story.
Yeah.
So challenges that you've had and overcame as a lawyer. And I want to get to the music stuff because that's...
That's fun too. That's the fun part.
I'm sure the lawyering is kind of day job stuff, but I want to hear about music in a minute. But what do you, I don't know, top lessons you've learned as a lawyer, mentor, guy that you are over 50 years?
There's a rule that I've developed, and I've trained the attorneys in the office to follow it. It's called the 24-hour rule. And when you get upset or mad about something, which happens, other attorneys, clients, defendants in cases, judges will do things or say things that get you upset. And the worst thing you can do is to respond to it in the moment.
That's good.
Give it 24 hours, let things settle down, and you generally find out that it's not as bad as you think it was.
Right.
And you don't burn bridges, and somehow things keep going. It's been a very productive rule.
Yeah, and what they say is sleep on it, don't stay awake on it. That's why they say go to bed.
Well said. Yeah, that's it too. Same idea.
Yeah, my son who's turning 40, when he was younger, we'd just say, Jacob, just please, let's end the day, go to bed. I swear to God, it'll look different in the morning. And it always does. And now at 63, I have to obey that same rule. It's like, I've got to fix it tonight. No, you don't. I have to react to it. I'm going to write that email right now. And it's like, Joni's going, no, you're not. No, you're not. Just cork that. And it's such a bit of sage wisdom, in that direction. So, so again, chief challenges in the industry that you would have as a trial lawyer?
It's as a trial lawyer. I mean, there are elements in society that want to limit the rights of victims to get fair compensation, and we're fighting that all the time.
Sure.
So that's the biggest challenge, I would say, professionally. California, actually, we've been pretty successful in protecting the rights of victims, and most of the laws, most of the rules are fair, and I think applied fairly in the state. So that's not a huge challenge for us. It's more difficult in other parts of the country. We're lucky here. I think the main thing is just maintaining integrity, trying to be honest and truthful with people that you deal with,
Sure.
so that they're the same with you, and developing that kind of respect in the legal community and in the public is a huge part of success, I think. People tag you pretty quickly, and if you screw up once, you might get a break, but you do it twice, it's going to follow you around for a long time. And so you just try really hard to be yourself, be natural, and care about people. I mean, that's the main thing I worry about. I worry about my clients all the time. And that's just one of the things that comes with the job. And I don't go home and turn it off. It's there. It's going on and on. I'm in the shower. I think of an argument to make in court. It's just one of those things. You live with it, and you either like it or you don't.
Right.
Yep.
I like that integrity idea. So what I heard recently is connection and relationship also involves accountability and responsibility to not get that 2 or 3 strikes. And especially in a small town, it's like you could screw up once maybe, and then it's like not good. And
we have a strong legal community here. There are some really fine lawyers, and I'm often told by out-of-town attorneys, especially big city lawyers, that they wish they could move here and practice law, because we all know each other, we respect each other, and you get to know the judges on a first-name basis. Typically, it just makes the whole practice process more. It's not casual. We're not quite as strict as maybe some of the bigger cities or bigger courts, but it's a great place to practice and to have that kind of relationship with people. It just makes a big difference.
As much as we talk about Humboldt and the crime rates, drug rates, alcoholism, drug abuse, criminal, homeless, whatever you want to go at. It's really cool to know that there's individual networks like your own. It's true for the regional center community, special needs community. They're one of the best regional centers in the state. And to know there's Mary Keene out there developing this special needs farm behind Grocery Outlet, and we are up in McKinleyville. So it's kind of you got to look a little bit, but there's a lot of that integrity that you're talking about. I like it. So I want to talk about you personally for a minute. So here comes the really hard questions. So who was Zach Zwerdling at 15?
Oh, man, I was a high school kid. Like I said, I was very committed to the anti-war movement. I was student body president at Arcata High School, and I did a lot of things to sort of develop social consciousness, environmental issues. And I started playing music when I was about that age. I saw the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show, 1964, February 1964, and I said, I want to do that.
Wow.
Went out and bought a guitar at Nye Garden Green in Henderson Center. I still have it, as a matter of fact. And it's just been a passion ever since. And I would say that particular band has been a source of inspiration for many, many years.
I think if I got this story right, you could correct me. They offered X amount of dollars to be on the show once, and the manager said, "We'll go on 3 times," and they did.
I believe the total pay that they got for those 3 performances was around $3,000.
Yeah, it was really that.
It's hard to imagine,
but it really launched the brand. Oh boy, yeah, the British. So did you play rock and roll?
I did. Yeah, I was in a high school garage band. Played a lot of gigs around Arcata, mostly Arcata High School, but we played a gig at Winship, various schools in Eureka. It was fun. It was good. Nice. I kind of, when I went to college, I jammed a lot with people, but didn't have a formal band. I didn't get any bands really started until I actually, 20 years into law. The first 20 years was getting the career going, getting the practice going, starting a family. And then as time kind of opened up a little bit, I was really wanting to be in bands. And one of the things I do is I've not only formed bands that I'm in, but I've helped form bands for other up-and-coming musicians. Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but I have a small record label called Mercury Sky Records.
Wow.
And we have produced 5 records so far in the last 7-10 years. And it's just been a matter of I hear about a particular musical artist locally and check them out. And many times they don't register with me, but sometimes there's a spark of genius in there, and I promote these artists and help them produce records. And then in some cases, I actually play with some of the musicians that I've produced, and that's really been fun too.
Yeah, no, I've seen some of your bands.
Yeah.
So is this with Jimmy Foote
Yeah, Jimmy's it's his studio where we record all the records.
And he's got a world-class studio, right?
Very good studio, and a top-notch engineer named Dominic Romano, who the only person I'll work with. He's fantastic.
Producer's nodding his head over here.
Yeah,
you know who that is?
He's a bit of a local legend, and I mean, he went to college and studied sound engineering. I mean, that's his thing,
Wow.
and he's also very talented musically himself. And known him for a while. Very, very nice guy. So these 5 records that we've put together are pretty nice. They're on Apple, Spotify, all the streaming platforms.
You say 5 records, 5 singles, 5 albums.
Well, actually, there was one single. Our most recent release was a single. Brianna Penner, who's in Amber Soul, it was a single that she recorded and we released. Very, very strong song. The rest of them have been albums, CDs, and they're, like I said, they're all available on streaming platforms. I'm really impressed. I mean, one of the things that I want to get across here, if I get the chance to, is just, this particular location in the world has an incredible musical base. I mean, there's art here all over the place. We know that. There's many, many different forms of art. But I continue to be amazed at the quality of musicianship in this community and all genres, classical through jazz, through rock. And it's an honor and pleasure to work with some of these people and help find talent and get it going. I'm actually right now working on getting a young female singer in Reading, a 15-year-old, onto The Voice.
Oh, really?
So that's a new project I've taken on. And one of the other singers I produced applied for The Voice, got an audition, didn't make it on the show, and it's been very fun to do that. Just help give these people a little bit of a nudge and the ability to compete. So it's what I love.
So I want to talk about your 5 bands, or the 2 bands. You're in 2, but you've launched 5.
Yeah.
So talk about Ghost Train to start. Is that the foundation?
Yeah, that's the oldest band. It's been around about 7 years, and it's a great cover band. We do a whole range of music, all kinds of different styles. Fantastic musicians in it. Christina D'Alessandro is our lead singer. She's a knockout performer and knockout singer.
Good realtor.
And a good realtor. That's true. Yeah, that's a good plug. She'll appreciate that. She's always after me for plugs. Yeah, so there you go. The other band that I'm in is Amber Soul with the Penner siblings. There's actually 3 of them in the band. Right. And they're phenomenal. They write great songs, great music, and are incredible stage performers. You'll see them at Pearson Park if you come out to our show. Sure. And by the way, I'm going to put in a plug real quick.
Please.
Amber Soul's playing July 7th at the Eagle House. It's a benefit for Food for People.
Right.
And we're going to play from 8 to 10 at the Eagle House, $20 a pop, and it goes to a good cause, and we'll put on a good show.
Good.
Hope people come.
I'll be there since I'm a sponsor.
That's right, you are.
That's right.
Thank goodness. Yeah, you're one of the few people that jumped right up and said yes.
Oh, man,
so
how could I say no? Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. I'm big fans of those guys. Have you met their parents?
I have.
Yeah, I heard they're really nice.
Very,
nice people.
They're the nicest people.
I've heard lots of good things.
And I want to know the trick. I don't know how genetics works, but how did 3 people all develop such incredible talent musically? I think a lot of it was their dad. He's apparently very talented musically. And
I want to meet them. So you got Ghost Train, Amber Soul. Who else?
Well, other artists that I produce, a woman named Rachel Beccaria, who doesn't live here anymore, but we put out a record. That was the first record on my record label. I've put out records for the Penners sisters, just a number of people, and they're all they're kind of unique, kind of talented. I don't necessarily play with these records, honestly. Right. I'm an okay guitarist. There are people that are much better than I am. And when you record in the recording studio, I want it to be the best. Sure. And so what I do, I do pay and hire some of the best local musicians to back these folks up in the studio. And it makes the quality of the recording really good.
Amazing. Yeah. The studio guys. So comfortable talking about who they are? Or
some of the musicians that I work with.
Some of the plugs or even just some of the local bands you like too. I'd be kind of curious about both.
Well, we do have a great assortment of talent here. I mean, Object Heavy is an amazing band. They've been around for a while, and they tour. They're actually kind of making it to the next level.
Say that name again.
Object Heavy.
Okay.
A band in Arcata that primarily in Arcata. They've been around for a while. They're really good. My son's in a couple of other projects. He's in a band called Wild Abandon. With a very talented singer-songwriter named Melanie Barnett, who I helped promote early on and helped her find musicians to be in her band. And she writes her own stuff. They're worth catching sometime. All original music.
Did they play at the freshwater benefit for the Land Trust, or
I think they have. Yeah, they did.
was that Nathan? He's in another band with the guy with
Nate.
the Crocs, Nate.
Yeah, he's in that band, and the guy with Crocs. Yeah, I think that's the guitar player.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're really, really the
Yeah, they're
musicianship
great.
in that band is very, very unique.
Yeah.
They're really good, and you know the fact that Melanie writes music. To me, that's kind of the ultimate. If you can actually take
Sure.
your talent and put it in your own words, and
Everything.
make your
Yeah.
own song. Yeah. But you know, the people that I work with that just do covers, I'll actually do a really good job on them too.
Mhm.
Jimmy Foote is a phenomenal guitarist.
Mhm.
He's been voted best guitar player in Humboldt County, I think in North Coast Journal once or twice, and he earns it. He's got a huge track. He's played with a lot of big bands in his career and opened for a lot of famous people, and done a lot of recording himself. Nice thing about working with Jimmy is we're about the same age. So we're kind of the old guys in
The old guy
band.
crew.
Yeah, and you know, both my bands are multi-generational. Yeah, we go from 20s through 70s,
Awesome.
and it's nice to have that kind of bridge with the younger generation.
I think it
Yeah.
adds everything. So Jimmy seems like a nice guy too.
Mhm.
So what other studio gals do you bring in?
You're putting me on the spot here, but there's a drummer named Sam Kaplan Good who's very good. He's in Object Heavy actually, and he drummed in Ghost Train for a while. We had a great singer named Jamie Carroll, who a lot of people in Humboldt County know. She's a real socially conscious, great person. Unfortunately, she's moved, so she had to leave the band. Christina took her place. You know, my son's a phenomenal bass player. I use that word too much. I'm sorry, phenomenal. But anyway, he's a terrific bass player, a very talented musician, and every project he's in is unique, special. He's in a jazz quintet with the Pinners.
Right. I think
Called Young and Lovely.
saw them.
They're really good, and they're competing at the Battle of the Bands at the fair this weekend.
It's coming up, right?
Sunday, 420. Isn't that a great time
420.
to perform? Yeah.
Perfect. Humboldt time.
Well, what's cool about it is they're a jazz quintet. They play traditional jazz tunes, and they're competing against rock bands.
Wow.
So we'll see how that goes. I hope the judges are open-minded about it because they're really, really good jazz folks. Devin Penner sings and plays organ. He's
really good, right?
He's brilliant. I mean, anybody who knows Devin, listen to him play.
I think you told me he was in the Marine Corps band,
He was in the Marine Corps band,
which is no small thing.
And he did a lot of national touring with the Marine Corps Jazz Band.
Wow.
I believe he played at the White House once and a Super Bowl, various things like that. He's a knockout performer and singer. Great guy. He's actually unbelievable. He could walk into any studio, I believe, Los Angeles, New York, Nashville, and kill it. And he could do it. I mean, he's just a natural.
He's that good.
He's that good. So those are most of the folks. Trevor Enright, our current drummer in both bands, Amber Soul and Ghost Train.
You know Trevor?
Really nice guy, very sweet guy.
Sheriff's
fun
office.
to play with. Yeah, he's a deputy coroner.
Yeah.
So you know him through
You
that.
see him at the gym all the time, and great guy.
I can tell he goes to the gym a lot. Just look at him.
Can you tell that I go to the gym? Don't answer that.
I'm not going to perjure myself here.
Yeah. I do yoga in the morning.
Yeah, good for you.
Paid off.
One other musical project my son's involved in that I helped promote was a band locally called the Gatehouse Well, and they were a Irish folk, kind of modern folk. It's hard to describe this genre, but my son played bass in it, and Dominic Romano, the recording engineer I told you about earlier, and a guy named Michael David, who's unfortunately moved away. I produced a Michael David record.
Michael David's amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing, and we did a CD release party at the Eagle House. It was a big success, sold out. The other CD release party I did for Rachel Beccaria also sold out, very successful, both of them. Anyway, Michael and Dominic were the lead singers in Gatehouse Well, and they're missed. There was acoustic, all acoustic music, and very different than the rock and
Did
roll.
they play
and
at
jazz.
the Folk Life Festival at Del Arte?
Many times.
I think we saw them. They're great.
They killed it. Singing, harmony was they're all around just great musicians.
And Michael David, I mean, is there a song he doesn't know or can't play? He's like,
if you go on his website, I think he's got 300 songs on there that you can pick and choose for a wedding, and
wow, he'll play it.
He can do it, and he can do it on the spot, which is amazing too. He's very talented.
Yeah.
Nice guy too.
Did he play Freebird or Stairway to Heaven?
He would if you paid him enough. You'd have to pay for it though. It's not going to be cheap.
So you'd have to really pay for that tune.
I used him actually. I've used Michael a couple times in recordings with El Penner, who's one of the Penner siblings. He played guitar backup on a couple of songs that we recorded, and it's just sweet. It's just perfect, and I can't say enough good things about him.
I think you got a real pulse on the I want to call it the music scene in Humboldt. I guess it'd be the music culture here.
Community.
And, community. And there's so many people that we've seen over the years at Meadow River Brewery or now at Philbrook Winery and the Bluegrass guys to the Interchangeable Band and Blue Lake. And
don't leave out the Eureka Symphony is wonderful. They just did Mozart's Requiem, and I didn't go. I was out of town, but my son said it was a killer performance.
Right.
We have a local young lady who I've recorded, Clara and she's an opera singer, professional opera singer. She lives in Brooklyn, New York, and she performs opera regularly. She came back to perform in the Requiem. And we did release there's a YouTube video and a recording that we did when she was in town once. So, I mean, that's just part of the diversity that I'm talking about. Yeah.
And Sarah Bareilles, when she comes back.
Hard to top that. I mean, that's amazing.
What a great show. That was really fun.
I know. It was really good.
That was a good time.
We were Amber Soul was considered to be the opening act for that show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sad we didn't get it, but maybe next time.
Hey, there's next time. Hopefully she'll be back. That'd be great. So, in terms of local bands that you like, who do you like to see play?
Besides my bands?
Besides your bands, yeah.
Well, I said earlier, I think, Object Heavy's definitely up there on the list. And I like Wild Abandon, who I mentioned earlier. I'm drawing a little bit of a blank now. There's a number of groups that there's so many
guys gals that are great.
The Undercovers, I can't beat those guys. They're a top-notch band.
They're great.
The musicianship in that band is excellent. No question about it. I always enjoy hearing them play.
Right. Also playing in McKinleyville. This summer. She's
Yeah.
got a really nice lineup going all the way.
Yeah,
through.
they do a nice job in McKinneyville. That Pearson Park thing is great.
Oh, it's great. It's Thursday night lineup, and it's big. So musically, then, what keeps you motivated and interested in all this? I think I already know the answer, but what I'll let you answer. What do you think's driving your train on that one?
Yeah, it's hard to. I think it's hard to pin down exactly. I'm a little bit of a frustrated musician. I think if I had a tiny bit more talent, or actually quite a bit more talent, I would have liked to have done something with it professionally. I've always admired and I love, watching great musicians. And I just saw Peter Gabriel actually. Who we all know from many decades ago, and he's still powerful and strong. He's about my age actually, and he put on an incredible show in an arena that I saw that. It just reminded me that these guys, there's a reason why they're so good. And it's because they write great music and they sing.
And he's still at it.
He's still at it. And he sounds just as strong as he did 40 years ago, 30 years ago.
He was Genesis in the day, right? Yeah.
Then he went off on his own. And, Sledgehammer was his big hit.
Where'd you see him?
Paris. Which is pretty cool. He's coming to the U.S. He's going to be
city
touring.
Paris, not the casino.
Yeah, it was Paris.
I bet that was great.
Yeah, it was fun, and French audience was interesting. They're a little different than American audiences.
Yeah,
a little more restrained, a little more polite.
Jody and I are going to go up and see Britt Floyd at the Brit Festival.
That's a wonderful venue.
It's supposed to be they're supposed to be the Pink Floyd guys, but we'll see.
Cool.
We saw Australian Pink Floyd a couple years ago, and they were just outstanding. We go, well, we don't know, but it was one of the best shows ever we saw. So
that's a band that certainly has a legacy that people love and admire.
They were so good. So what would you tell a young you or a young person getting into law or getting into music? How would you advise them if you were to give them some sage advice from your lessons?
I think I would tell them that become a lawyer, get a job, get a regular, some kind of source of income.
Get a day job.
And then make the music, your passion. And if you can make the music pay, which is very tough these days, and basically move into that world, that's great. But you're talking 1% or less than 1%. I mean, to really be successful. Yeah. And if you can do both, on parallel tracks, it's what I'm doing. It works, So that I would recommend that. If you really are motivated to be a professional musician, you've got to plan on, number one, a source of income, but number two, hit the road, practice, play as much as you can, develop a local following, and then try to expand it by touring, which is what Object Heavy's doing. I mean, they toured San Francisco to Eugene. I believe they go as far as north as Eugene. And they're developing they have a base, and people come out to see them, and it's nice. Yeah. It's a good thing. But every one of those guys has a separate job. I mean, they have
day job, yeah. So what would you tell an aspiring attorney?
I would say that, just be committed to caring about people. I think that's the key to it. I mean, I don't think you can be a good doctor or a good lawyer unless you really care about people. If you don't care about people and other people's lives and the problems that they face in their everyday existence, then you shouldn't go into those fields.
Right on.
You need to be committed to trying to make the world a little bit better place for people, and care about the community. I think community is a big part of being a lawyer or any professional person. You are a great example. I mean, you are very community oriented and kind of an inspiration, actually.
Thanks.
And we need more of that. And Humboldt County, fortunately, we have a nice group of people that do a lot of great things for the community. You're one of them. I try to do what I can, and so I think that being a lawyer shouldn't be about just making money. I mean, that's nice if it happens.
Sure.
But I think you want to make the world a better place, and you can. And it gives you an opportunity to right wrongs, and that's very satisfying.
Can I tell a story?
Please.
Here goes. So my dad, I was in media sales before I was a State Farm agent, where I, right before I became an agent, I went to Stanford and had 2 new hips put in, bilateral hip replacement. Really rad.
That's a big deal.
Big deal. Career changer. And I became my dad, who was an insurance agent. So funny story. But he came into our meeting. My dad was a insurance salesman on Camp Pendleton in Oceanside, California. And I was real excited. Hey, Dad, here's the paper. Give us all the company secrets. What are the secrets to life? And he sat there and he got kind of uncomfortable, and he's really a talker. And he goes, I'll just say it this way. He goes, if you're in sales or in life or in anything, just for the money, you're about half paid. And
that's good.
I go, let me say, where's the rest? He goes, I'm done, Scott. I'm not saying anything else. If you're doing what you're doing for money, you're about half paid. And I thought, that's exactly what you just said. People don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. And I think the difficult part of that for many of us, and particularly young people who perhaps are on a journey, they're just not self-aware enough to go, do I have what that takes? And I think that's a developed gift over time, and love for people and care, and that comes. We'll talk about that another time. Wherever that comes from, I think that love for folks is key, and it's everything. Real quick on the music front, local but not local. What I've discovered, and I want to promote local music all the time, but it's this, that a lot of guys come through town that are freaking amazing. Whether they're at the Steeple in Ferndale, Arcata Playhouse, or the Arcata Theater.
HSU.
Or
Center Arts.
Center Arts has had so many.
Right.
We saw Duran Jones in the Indications last year. I didn't know who that was. I had one of the best concerts I've ever seen. They were phenomenal. And but the one-off troubadours or the Wardens from Vancouver, BC, they're just a warden up there as a ranger. And they're 4 guys that play bluegrass, and they have a slideshow of Banff and the park. It was just
I'll have to check them out.
There's so much variety. It's these guys that come. Martin Sexton. I don't know if you.
No, I know Martin Sexton.
Is that
folk singers? I think he was a folk singer.
Yeah, he was great. And just, Billy Bob Thornton and the Box Masters.
I remember the name of his band. But,
they were just here. It's funny because we saw them 2 years ago, and all their stuff online is like it's rockabilly, but they played full on Nirvana grunge at 110 decibels, and it was just like, yes, I'm 63. I've had it. It was a little much. So let's talk about you some more, if we could.
Sure.
Hardest questions that my father-in-law would ask people is, who are you and what do you want? So I'll ask you, Zach Zwerdling, who are you?
I'm just a person who loves this community. I'm a family man. I've got 2 wonderful kids. One's a doctor. My daughter's a doctor. My son's a lawyer. And
grandkids?
No grandkids yet. Hopefully that's going to happen sometime soon.
Doctor and lawyer.
Yeah, doctor and lawyer. My daughter works at Open Door Clinic in Arcata.
Okay.
And she's like me in many respects. I mean, she's got that commitment to people. Being a doctor these days isn't particularly fun, and it certainly doesn't pay very well. But she's committed to it. Well, I think anywhere, unless you're a super specialist someplace, like at Stanford. But the doctors that we need, the family practice docs locally here, they don't get paid what they're worth,
Right.
and that's just the way it is. But they do it for the reasons we just talked about. It's very satisfying to take care of people. She has a lot of patients who really admire and respect her. My son's developing a really nice client base. So I see myself as sort of a little bit of, you used the word genesis earlier. That was Peter Gabriel's band. I'm kind of the genesis of these two wonderful people who are going to do a lot for the community. My wife, Margie, and I, are so proud of our kids. And they both came back to Humboldt County like their dad did. And they're going to go on after I'm gone, doing great things for locally. My son, especially in music and law. So, I've reached a point where I kind of, the idea of helping promote music and various musicians who need a little bit of a nudge, a little bit of an assist. It just feels good. That's the right thing for me to be doing right now, and I like being part of that. And then I'm involved in a lot of community activities. I've been on a lot of boards, nonprofit boards. Been active with the bar. A lot of things that I think are important. I feel like being a member of this community is a privilege and an honor, and I want to pay back.
That's awesome.
Pay things back here. I was very lucky to grow up here and start off life
and stay and have kids come back. Yeah. So we have 9, and all of the adult kids are gone with no signs of coming back. It's funny how many kids do, though. And when more when they come back, my son Jesse, who lived in Davis at the time, went to UC Davis. He goes, "Man, I can't believe how good the air is here." He goes, "This is like the best quality air like in the world." Dad, this is amazing. I said, "Hey, you could live here." "Oh, no, thanks." So they're off to the Netherlands, and anyway, so no,
it's hard to get a foothold here, economically, professionally. There's a few careers that you can do okay in: medicine, practicing law. But, it's definitely more money in the big urban centers. That's what people generally do to increase their income and everything. But I can't tell you how many times lawyers have come up to me. I said it earlier, and I wish I could move here. Yeah. I don't care if wouldn't make as much money, but this is the life. This is where I should be.
I think a lot of realtor friends are seeing tons of people coming up just for the lifestyle because COVID, they could work remote or work less and work their way out of the grind. And it's, I thought that interest rate would kill everything. And they said the real estate market's still
hot. That's
still
good.
Steady Eddie. So how do, if we were to support you in some way in terms of backing your causes, how could I help? How could the public help?
Well, you've already shown support for the Food for People benefit. And if this goes well, if we can get a full house there, and I'm really hoping we do, I'm going to try to do it every year.
Right.
It's a wonderful organization. They do great work in the community. And I'm just kind of honored to be part of this project, putting this benefit together. I love it if people go to see music, local music. Check out all the great talent we have around here. Go to the symphony once. Check that out. It's well worth checking out too. The jazz community here is very strong. The bluegrass community. Just support local musicians as much as you can. That means putting a little bit extra in the tip jar, maybe.
Sure.
Because they're not doing it, 100% for fun. It's nice to get paid.
It's nice to have gas money at $5 a gallon.
I know guitarists have got and spent $15,000 on a new guitar and then $15,000 on a new amplifier, and then they play for $100 a night.
Wow,
it's just not. It's just ridiculous.
It's funny money.
Economic model.
Yeah. So just kind of cap off here. So what do you see for Humboldt? What do you want to see? What's your vision for our future? What are the opportunities?
Well, I'm no expert on things like that, but I mean, Arcata and Humboldt State, or what Cal Poly now, I guess. So how far back I go, Humboldt State, but it's Cal Poly. I think that's an engine, that's a driver that's going to make our economy just take off. I think it's a real positive thing for the community to have such a strong, base, educational base. It's non-polluting. We're developing talent that's going to help the rest of the world, and that's a wonderful thing. And I'm so happy to see that over the years, watching Humboldt develop into that.
I like it. Growing people.
And then, the wind power things that are going on. There's a lot of interesting environmental things that are happening locally. I think this area is gonna it's going to have to find its footing. I'm not sure the cannabis industry is the future. I hope that some of these other, the college and the university and all the environmental things going on, I hope those can become, economic drivers, and
Right.
I think they will. That's my hope for the future here. I hope
Good.
not a whole lot of people move here and just kind of
Right.
keep it where it is right now. So it's a good
It
number.
rains a lot, folks. It's terrible. It just rains all the time.
Yeah, we do have a lot of fog, but
We call it medical desert at home too, because medicine is dicey sometimes. Getting good health care. So different topic. I think of the Great Redwood Trail too coming in. I think that's going to be
it's amazing. Yeah.
amazing. And then if we ever tap the potential of Humboldt Bay and the surrounding bay, it'd be great. A big music venue at the old. Where were they going to build the hotel? Helverson project.
Yeah, that was going to be a big convention center at one time.
Right,
It didn't come together, but
If we could do an amphitheater, who knows? We'll see. Dream and see what happens.
Just a short aside. I mean, live music outside Humboldt County is challenging, and I put on live productions outside, and sometimes the weather just ruins it. I mean, you're stuck. And I've been to events at Halverson that are really cold and chilly, and it's no fun. If the sun's out, it's great, but it's a challenge up here.
It's a dice roll, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's sunny. It's going to be great. Oh, wait, it's starting to mist. It's the Humboldt mist. Does it ruin amplifiers and musical equipment?
Well, rain can. I mean, you don't want to get water
get it
under
wet.
electronics. Yeah, people have died on stage, with things like that. But I don't think I've ever seen a show up here where it's raining.
Yeah.
I've been to shows in New Orleans where it was raining and people were on. So I saw Dave Matthews in a thunderstorm and on the stage, and it was. I can't believe they continued to play. They eventually quit,
right?
Because there was lightning kind of coming
Crazy.
down and all that. But
it rained at Woodstock, right?
It did.
Yeah.
And those guys, a lot of them, there was close to fatalities there because they had some electrical issues.
They're crazy. Yeah.
The whole thing just kind of could have been a disaster. Yeah.
Great. So I'll part with this top 3 bands. Your favorite stuff. If you Zach's Stuck on a Desert Island, you got 3.
Okay, I would
catalogs.
The Beatles, no question, way above. To me, they've been an inspiration in my life. So that's easy. Wow, that's
I should say top 3 aside from the Beatles.
Okay, well, that would be a fair question actually. I'm a big fan of rock and roll, and I've just listened to the Foo Fighters today. David Grohl to me is a brilliant musician.
Yeah,
I love everything those guys put out. I mean, it's just what can you say? I mean, they're supremely good. I love the Rolling Stones. They're a little bit of a parody these days. I've seen them a number of times. They're definitely one of the best bands around, though, and I always have been. I love their music, and I love classical music, as you probably have gotten the indication here of that. And I actually enjoy opera, and so I mean, I would say the San Francisco Opera is another one of my favorite musical forms. Yeah.
Wow!
Just saw an opera in Norway, actually.
That'd be fun.
Mozart opera. Oh, it's really fun.
We saw one at the Hollywood Bowl. It was fun.
Did you? Good.
Yeah. And then we saw the Who 3 years ago.
There you go.
Right before COVID. It was amazing. They just.
I wish I had seen them in the '60s, but I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I missed so many things. Growing up in San Diego, you saw a lot of shows. My top 3, since you asked.
Go for it.
Pink Floyd, Decemberists, and maybe the Who.
That's
I'd
not a bad
pick
list.
the Who. Yeah. Just
Not a
for
bad list.
catalog, but anyway, I appreciate you coming in. Any parting shots? Any other? Want to do a shout out for the old Food for People thing?
Yeah, once again, that's July 7th at the Eagle House, which, by the way, is a great venue for music. If people haven't been to the Eagle House, it has a wonderful stage, and nice dance floor. It's a very fun place to go see music. July 7th, 8 to 10, we're going to be playing 2 sets, Amber Soul, featuring the Penner siblings, who are phenomenal musicians. I'm really proud to be in a band with them, and a great cause. So that's coming up. Parting shots, I just, I like people, and I wish people liked each other more these days. I'm kind of worried about the division in the country. I've never seen anything like it. It's way worse than it was in the Vietnam days, honestly.
It's just weird.
And I'd like to see America come together again some point. But and that's kind of I think about that a lot. And,
I think we all are.
Yeah.
I think we are all concerned with you. And when's Ghost Train playing in McKinleyville?
Oh, you are
coming up.
I'm going to say June 29th.
Could be. I think it may be the second.
Could be the second one. Yeah.
The second one, because I know
so.
we're coming. We're going to the one next Thursday, a week from.
I'm gonna take a chance and say June 29th. I'll probably get some calls on that, but anyway.
That's all right. Hey, consult your Facebook page, McKinleyville Chamber. Well, thanks, Zach. Appreciate you coming.
Thank you, Scott.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
All right.